A 330-acre former military base turned into the largest film studio owned by a single person in the country. A 2,100-acre personal estate with its own private airstrip carved into the Georgia countryside. And a content library worth hundreds of millions of dollars that he owns every single frame of. Most people know Tyler Perry as the man behind Madea. The guy in the dress laughs, but what they do not realize is that behind the wigs and the comedy is one of the most ruthless business minds in the history of American entertainment. This is not just a success story. This is a sovereign empire built from nothing, on land where the Confederacy once trained for war. And today, we are breaking down exactly how Tyler Perry became the undisputed king of Georgia. Let's start at the bottom, because you cannot appreciate where this man stands without understanding where he started. Tyler Perry was born Emmett Perry Jr. in New Orleans, Louisiana, in 1969. His childhood was defined by poverty and trauma. His father physically abused him. A family acquaintance sexually abused him. He attempted to take his own life as a teenager. He changed his first name to Tyler to distance himself from his father. He never finished high school. He earned a GED instead. There was no trust fund. There was no mentor. There were no investors writing checks. There was just a young man from New Orleans who heard Oprah Winfrey say on television that writing could help people heal from pain. So he started writing letters to himself. Those letters became the foundation for a musical called I Know I've Been Changed. He scraped together every dollar he had to stage it in Atlanta in 1992. The first performance played to a nearly empty theater. Most people would have quit right there. Perry spent the next 6 years rewriting that same play over and over again, sleeping in his car, working odd jobs, and pouring every paycheck back into his craft. By 1998, the play finally caught fire. Audiences packed the house, and from that moment, Tyler Perry never looked back. Here is where the genius kicks in. Perry did not chase Hollywood. He built his own lane. He created the character of Madea, a loud, no-nonsense grandmother, and took his plays on the road through what is known as the urban theater circuit. This was a network of venues across the South and the Midwest that catered almost exclusively to Black audiences. No major media coverage, no mainstream critical attention, just word of mouth, church networks, and a loyal fan base that showed up in droves. Before he ever directed a single Hollywood film, Perry had already sold over $100 million in tickets, $30 million in videos, and $20 million in merchandise. He was filling 35,000 seats a week across 300 live shows a year. Think about that. The man was already a multimillionaire before a single studio executive even knew his name. He was operating an entire entertainment ecosystem outside the traditional Hollywood pipeline, and he was printing money doing it. Then he walked into Lionsgate with a proposition that most filmmakers would never have the nerve to make. He offered to put up half the budget for his first film. Lionsgate put up the other half, took a small distribution fee, and they split the profits. Diary of a Mad Black Woman opened in 2005 and pulled in over $50 million at the box office on a tiny budget. The film went on to generate an estimated $150 million as more from video sales, licensing, and streaming. And here is the critical detail. Perry kept ownership of his content. Every play, every movie, every television episode. He owns the negatives. He owns the masters. He did not sell his rights for a quick payday. He held on to everything. That single decision is the reason Tyler Perry is a billionaire today. By 2011, Forbes named him the highest paid man in all of entertainment, pulling in $130 million in a single year. Not the highest paid black man, the highest paid man, period. His content library now includes over 1,200 television episodes, more than 20 feature films, and 24 stage plays. The Madea franchise alone has pulled in nearly $700 million worldwide, with each film costing less than $10 million to produce. The margins on that are staggering. Because Perry writes, directs, produces, and distributes almost everything himself, the profits flow directly to him. His deal with TBS for House of Pain alone was reportedly worth $200 million, with roughly $138 million going straight into Perry's pocket. He followed that with an exclusive partnership with Oprah Winfrey's OWN network in 2012, producing over 500 episodes across 5 different series, including The Haves and The Have-Nots. That show became the most watched scripted series in OWN history and is widely credited with saving the network. Then in 2017, he signed a landmark deal with Viacom, now Paramount Global, worth $150 million per year for original scripted content. Under that agreement, Perry committed to producing 90 episodes of original programming annually. And get this, he still retained ownership of everything he created under that deal. He also secured a 25% equity stake in BET+, the streaming platform that launched as a joint venture between BET and Tyler Perry Studios in 2019. So not only was he getting paid to create content, he owned a piece of the platform that distributed it. That is vertical integration at the highest level. And in March of this year, Paramount bought out Perry's stake in BET+ for an undisclosed sum believed to be in the 8-figure range, as the platform prepares to fold into Paramount+. Perry cashed out his equity position, but his overall programming deal with BET runs through 2028 and is valued at 9 figures. The man exited his ownership at the right time and still kept the production contract. That is the kind of financial maneuvering that separates moguls from millionaires. But the real crown jewel of the Tyler Perry empire is the land. In 2015, Perry purchased 330 acres of the former Fort McPherson Army base in southwest Atlanta for $30 million. Let that sink in. Fort McPherson has a history dating back to the Civil War. It was formerly named after a Union general, but it served as a Confederate stronghold and later functioned as a training center, a wartime hospital, and an internment camp for prisoners of war across multiple conflicts. A former Confederate military post, a place steeped in the history of war and racial oppression, is now owned entirely by a black man who grew up sleeping in his car. Perry himself has spoken about the poetic justice of that reality. He then invested over $250 million transforming the site into Tyler Perry Studios, one of the largest production facilities in the entire United States. The complex features 12 massive soundstages, ranging from 10,000 to over 38,000 square feet each. Every single one is named after a legendary black entertainer: Sidney Poitier, Oprah Winfrey, Denzel Washington, Cicely Tyson, Will Smith, Whoopi Goldberg. The studio lot includes 40 historic buildings listed on the National Register of Historic Places, over 200 acres of green space, and 50,000 square feet of permanent sets. There is a full replica of the White House built at roughly 80% scale. There is a luxury hotel lobby, a trailer park, a county jail, a farmhouse, and an authentic 1950s diner that Perry had physically relocated from a town 100 miles away. There is even a residential neighborhood with 12 fully furnished homes, complete with working interiors. This is a city, and everybody pays rent to Tyler Perry. Marvel filmed Black Panther on his lot. The Walking Dead shot there. When the 2019 Democratic presidential debate needed a venue in Atlanta, it was held inside Tyler Perry Studios. Every time a major production needs space in the Hollywood of the South, they are writing a check to one man. Perry controls more than 350 acres of the former Fort McPherson site in total, making him the dominant landowner on the entire base. And he is not done. In 2022, he purchased an additional 38 acres chickens adjacent to the studio for $8.5 million, with plans to develop a 1.3 million square foot entertainment district with theaters, retail, restaurants, office space, and a Georgia Film Museum. That project filed its Development of Regional Impact application in mid-2025 and is expected to be completed by 2028. He initially planned an $800 million expansion of the studio itself, adding 12 more sound stages, but paused the project in early 2024 after seeing the potential impact of artificial intelligence on traditional filmmaking. Even in pausing, Perry demonstrated something most moguls lack: discipline. He did not throw money at a problem. He stepped back, assessed the landscape, and waited for clarity. That is the mindset of a man who has been broke before and refuses to ever go back. Now let's talk about how the man actually lives, because the personal real estate portfolio is just as absurd as the studio. Perry's primary residence is a 40,000 square foot mega mansion sitting on 2,100 acres in Douglasville, Georgia, about 20 miles from the studio. He started acquiring this land back in 2013, buying up parcels that were originally slated for a community of over 1,300 homes. Perry had a different vision. He built a compound that feels more like a private kingdom than a house. The estate features 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, a grand foyer, a gourmet kitchen, a wine cellar, a home theater, a fitness center, a spa, and a library. Outside, there is a massive lap pool, an organic farm with horses, a man-made lake, walking trails, and a helipad. And yes, there is a private airstrip on the property. Drone footage has revealed Bible verses from Psalm 91 inscribed across the rear of the mansion. The estimated value of this estate sits at over $100 million. Before Douglasville, Perry lived on a 17-acre estate on West Paces Ferry Road in Buckhead, one of Atlanta's most prestigious addresses. He purchased it in 2009 for $9 million, poured millions more into renovations, and sold it in 2016 for $17.5 million to an evangelist. That property later ended up in the hands of Steve Harvey. The Buckhead mansion featured a 70,000-gallon infinity pool and an underground ballroom. But Perry outgrew it the way he outgrows everything. He needed more land, more privacy, more room to think and build. Douglasville gave him all of that, and then some. But that is just Georgia. Perry also owns a 24,000 square foot Tuscan-style villa in Beverly Ridge Estates in Beverly Hills, the same property where he famously hosted Prince Harry and Meghan Markle when they first arrived in the United States after stepping away from the royal family. He owns a log cabin retreat in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and for the ultimate escape, he purchased a 25-acre private island called White Bay Cay in the Bahamas, where he built a 14,000 square foot Balinese-style villa for himself and guests. He owns 2 private aircraft. His combined real estate portfolio across all properties is estimated at well over $100 million on its own. Forbes estimates his total net worth at $1.4 billion. He earns between $200 million and $250 million per year. And the man does not just hoard that wealth. Perry moves with a philanthropic instinct that most billionaires do not possess. He established the Tyler Perry Foundation in 2006 with a mission focused on health, education, clean water, and sustainable economic development. Through a partnership with Charity Water, he has helped deliver clean water access to over 65,000 people across Ethiopia, Haiti, India, and Cambodia. When Hurricane Katrina hit his hometown of New Orleans in 2005, he did not just send a check. He funded the construction of 20 homes. The community was renamed Perry Place. When he heard about a 93-year-old woman in South Carolina being pressured by developers to give up her family's land, he built her a brand new 5-bedroom house on her own property. In 2018, he walked into 2 Atlanta area Walmarts and paid off every single layaway balance in both stores during the holiday season. In 2020, he covered the funeral expenses for Rayshard Brooks, a black man killed by police in Atlanta, and offered to fund the college education of Brooks's 4 children. He donated $1 million to the NAACP Centennial Celebration, which was the largest single donation the organization had ever received from an individual artist at the time. In 2023, he pledged $2.75 million to freeze property taxes for over 100 low-income seniors in Atlanta so they could stay in their homes. He received the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award at the 2021 Oscars, presented specifically for his work feeding vulnerable communities during the pandemic. Perry does not give to get press. He gives because he remembers what it felt like to have nothing. And here is what makes this story different from every other celebrity wealth breakdown you have ever watched. Tyler Perry did not inherit a single dollar. He did not have a famous last name. He did not have a college degree. He did not have a cosign from a major studio. Everything he built came from one decision he made in the 1990s that most of Hollywood still refuses to make. He chose ownership over everything. He chose to bet on himself when nobody else would. He built his own sound stages when no studio would give him a room. He financed his own films when banks would not return his calls. And now every major studio in the country has to come to him if they want to shoot in the South. His studio alone functions as a key anchor of Georgia's entire film economy, which generated $8.55 billion in economic output in fiscal year 2022. Tyler Perry is not just building personal wealth. He is an economic engine for an entire state. If you're getting value from content like this, consider joining our channel membership for early access and exclusive deep dives into the world of hidden wealth. Tyler Perry didn't just ask for a seat at the table. He bought the land, poured the foundation, built the table, and now charges admission for anyone who wants to sit down. From sleeping in a car in Atlanta to owning a military base, a private island, and a billion-dollar content empire, Tyler Perry is proof that ownership is the ultimate currency. He didn't just change the game for Black creatives, he rewrote the entire rulebook. So, what part of the Tyler Perry empire blows your mind the most? Is it the sheer scale of the studio? The personal compound of 2,100 acres? Or the fact that he owns every single frame of content he's ever produced? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to see more empires like this being built across the country, click the video on your screen right now. Subscribe for more deep dives into the world of Black wealth.